Presenting the storyline for the team navigators, Iloilo. Beginning with your team captain, center number 6, Cheyenne Caponerio. Middle number 7, JP Suisai. Opposite striker number 12, Francis Silva. Outside hitter number 13, Edward Camposano. Middle blocker number 14, Raj Musli. Outside hitter number 16,
we're ready to get things going here in this battle in the semifinals. Toto de la Vega, Peter Kiel, Liok, Dolor, Sapida, Pudadera, and Kalingking will be the starters for the PGJC Navy. JV Sumagaysay, Edward Camposano, Apolinario, Saura de Pedro, Nursidik, and Adao will start for the Navigators Iloilo. Thank you for joining us, airing live on One Sports Plus and Pilipinas Live. It will be a full day of volleyball as we start things off with the men's side. Then later on in the afternoon and evening, it will be the PBL seeing action across town at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. So if you're a volleyball fan, boy, clear out the schedule.
Yeah, that's right. It's a full day.
So when you are the team that has more pressure to win because you have a spot in the finals, has a possibility, how do you want to start in this matchup against a team that can't really lose anything in this game?
I think you would definitely want to start out strong. You would want to dictate the pace, have a good momentum. Because like we said, for Navy, basically they have nothing much to lose in this game. So a lot of the pressure really is on the side of the team in the red shirts.
So that is a good point coming from the Navigators. No, it was really a huge surprise how they defeated the Crisscross King Crunchers as they were able to put up a huge win. It was a 4-set win coming from the Navigators.
That's right, and I'm sure that a lot of volleyball, those who are following the game didn't really expect that to happen. No, but that's the thing about this sport. We see the teams who we know really on paper has a very strong lineup, but at the end of the day, it's really how well you prepare for them, so it can still be anybody's game.
And maybe the experience of playing together, the chemistry, bit on the side of the Navigators. A lot of them have been together for a bit now.
That's right, that's right.
A little more familiar with each other as they take a 2-1 lead of that net touch coming from the Navy. One-handed set picked up by De Pedro. Another strong hit coming from Francis Saura. He had 30 in their elimination?
The preliminaries, he had 30 points. So Saura would be one of the players that we expect to be activated a lot here for the Navigators. So he has been producing quite a lot for the team. This is really a battle of opposites if you can really think about it. You have Toto de la Vega on the other side.
Navy pulling one back. So I think that will be the theme. It was a 5-setter in the prelims between these two teams, and you can expect them to battle just as tight here in this match, which will not favor the Navigators.
That's
they
right.
need to win as dominantly as possible here in this match.
That's true. That's why we said, at the top of the coverage, we mentioned that there's a lot of drama here in this match, and definitely because for the Navigators, this is an important match that not only they get a win, but the number of sets that they win this game would also matter in terms of their chances to moving on to the next round. And there are certain scenarios that we have to play that their chances also depend on the outcome of the game of Crisscross Crunchers.
That is over-received, and Nursidik claims the gift and scores a point for the Navigators as they jump to a 5-2 advantage.
So far, so good here for the Navigators, and this is how they want to keep it. You know, they would want to make sure that they dictate the pace of the game, they maintain the lead, and not give Navy an opportunity.
How about that rocket coming from Greg Dolor? And really, even if he's not the leading scorer, he is the heart of this squad.
That's
when
right.
He provides the emotion, the push, everyone follows his lead.
That's right. And you know, he also scores those points in situations or scenarios that, you know, Navy would need a break. Saura calling for a touch, and there was a touch.
It is called a check ball point for Francis Saura as they've now doubled up on their opponents from the Navy, 6-3. Posano serving.
Oh, not the best
Great
of
pick up
receptions.
there. Pancake save from Saura. And they will keep the rally going. Putadera with the set. Joven slowed down by the block, and that will be another net violation, the third already. Very early in this first set against Navy.
Not the best of starts here for Navy. Again, remember, although they have nothing to lose here in this match, because even if they win, they do not advance to the finals anymore. But of course, for Navy, you would want to finish this game strong so that you have high morale, as they call it, moving on to the next game.
Because, you know, you might not make it to the finals, but you want to take home that bronze medal.
That's right. And you know, an upset, probably a win here against the Navigators can also be a big thing for Navy.
Saura admitting that he might have made a mistake. Posano was ready to pick it up from behind him. Sometimes you get a little too greedy when it comes to those situations. Well, that is an off serve, and that will lead us to our first technical timeout of the first set. The Navigators doubling up early on PGJC Navy, leading 8-4.
Conference 2024 for the Navigators. They're keeping their head above water. As mentioned, they do have a chance on getting that top 2 spot and making it to the finals, but they do have to earn it first. Just a quick recap, during the prelims, they lost to the Navy Sea Lions via 5 sets, and they lacked on-floor defense, and they committed many unforced errors. And they look to adjust on these, and at the same time, regain the same confidence and energy that they had from that 3-setter win versus Criss Cross. The Navigators were extra hungry for this one. Arvin Ivy.
Thank you for that, Baileys, as we pick things up here with the Navigators scoring a point coming off that technical timeout, 9-4, a 5-point lead now in PGJC. A bit shaky to start this first set.
A slow start for Navy. And the Navigators are taking advantage of that.
That will be a service error for Shnur Siddiq. Apologizes for the mistake, but what they're doing is they're really putting a lot of effort into their service. That's why the first ball, so
Right.
PGJC not really high quality right now.
That's right. So and that's really one of the best ways as well, you know, for for you to dictate the momentum. So that goes out. No touch from the blockers.
Good idea, combination play to set up the Pedro. But that ball was hit a little bit under, so it flew long. Lead is down to 3 now for the Navigators. Greg Dolor, as usual, heavy serve, picked up by Camposano. They try again with De Pedro. On the other side now, that's also a miss hit. No.
Was there a touch? There was a touch from the blockers.
So Navy trying to get going with their team captain. Seaman second class Greg Dolor continuing to serve. The runner. Effective yet for Sumagay side. The soft dodge connects. A smart hit from Sapida. And that will be a quick timeout. As the lead has dwindled down to just a single point for the Navigators. Let's listen into this huddle.
Tapang lang, tapang. Ulitin ko ha.
Sige lang. Hey, lamang pa tayo ha.
Ulitin ko. Sila maglalaro lang. Maglalaro, hindi kayo dapat ma-pressure. Walang pressure dapat. Kaya mo yan, basta nung isiyo, baka mo sa ibabaw. Kapitan natin.
Go. Side out tayo. Side out. Go. Labi!
And Coach Boyet Del Moro trying to relieve the pressure a bit coming from his squad. He knows that they might be a bit tight right now because of what could be at stake, right? A spot
right.
in the finals, something that they have not yet done in their Spikers Turf campaign.
That's right. So, just being at this stage or at this point is already a big achievement here for this team. But yeah, in this match, the pressure is actually on the side of the Navigators. Well, they started off strong, but the Navy's breathing down their necks right now.
They try that combination play once again. The defense is there from the back row.
Oh, solid block. Excellent net defense. And that's by Sumagay's side.
Knew exactly where that play was going. Good serve, picked up by Kalingking.
That was long.
Long, and they're saying no touch. Villanueva with a miss hit. Back to a 3-point lead for the Navigators. Another service error. This time from the team captain Apolinario.
Second service error now for the side of the Navigators.
Those are the things that you absolutely have to minimize, especially when you're not just wanting a win, but you're wanting a dominant win.
That's right.
You need all the points you can get. Push a little bit off coming from Sumagay's side. The dig. Apolinario De Pedro picked up from behind.
Too close to the net.
And that's the result. The blockers are right there.
That was a bit difficult. Let's take a look at that once again.
And Ivy, when it's that close to the net, you are giving your attacker very limited options where to go.
That's right. And you've got tall blockers in front of you. And speaking about blocking, the blocking of the Navigators are working exceptionally well.
Francis Saura with a monster block, one-on-one, complete denial, and that will force the hand of PGJC Navy to call this time.
Hindi na dito nahingi. Bakit? Meron ba tayong natatandaan yung sa training pag out of system open ang bigay? Sino ang nagturo sa inyo out of system open yung bigay? Di ba dito yan at saka dito yan para makatarget dito yung setter ng kalaban kasi nasa back row. Dito kayo huwag kayo tatarget ng diretso outside dyan. Ang kukulit ninyo Naglalaro kayo lang kayo gusto nyo dig sense bike hindi nyo ginagamit itong kukutin
That's right.
Sundan nyo lang yung pinapractice natin. Kaya tayo nagpa-practice para may gagawin tayo sa laro.
And we always hear that from the coaches. You know, that's what they always say. And, you know, you practice these game scenarios during training, and that's what the coach expects to see. Good response from Navy coming off from that timeout. And I think, you know, what Coach George mentioned was it was a basic strategy they have. And I think it's a given, you know, when you have a misreception and if it's not a perfect pass, option is always in the open to give it to the outside hitter. We've seen in how many sequences that the Navigators has anticipated that and was able to block the attacks.
Dati kasi naririnig ko lang sa mga teachers ko. Hindi mo kasi ginagamit. I heard it a lot when I was younger. It was kind of refreshing to hear Kokote again being used.
You wouldn't think you'd hear that, no? Medyo old school na.
Let's see how effective that timeout could be. Pedro with the dig. And now they go to Camposano. They could not find the angle to keep that ball alive. Good recovery from the Navigators. The lead was cut down to a single point. Now they're getting going again, building a 5-point lead.
You can see here how the advantage of the Navigators when it comes to setting up their plays. A lot of combination, and you have to give credit to the fact that they have good first ball.
That was a mighty hit coming from Leon. As Camposano was not able to get in front of him quickly. That was middle.
That's right. And that's why, you know, the middles really play a very important role. They may not be given a lot of sets, but they really have to make sure that, you know, they go for the attack to activate the blockers of the opponent.
Nursidik just sticking to it, and the defense wasn't there for PGJC Navy, so we're headed into our second technical timeout. Look at this. Nursidik jumps once. It was touched, jumps again, and there was no defense. There was a gap there. No one protecting the blocker as we head into this quick break. Awesome live sports viewing is guaranteed with Signal yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Switch now and get the 3 months with no cash out. So visit signal.tv/switch for more details. And we thank you for joining us on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and Pilipinas Live. This is the final day semifinals in your 2024 Spiker Surf Open Conference. That will be the third service error for the Navigators. Luckily for them, they still have a bit of an advantage, so they could afford a couple of mistakes here and there. And they quickly make up for it with that strong attack, extending their lead back up to 5. Ivy, what defensive adjustments would be required for PGJC to start climbing back into this match?
First, of course, would be the net defense. You know, we've seen that the Navigators really has been executing a lot of those combination plays. So it would really help if Navy rather, would be able to at least make it difficult for the attackers. So a lot of it really would have to do with the net defense. And I think part of the struggle that Navy has right now is also in the first ball. So I think it's very obvious the Navigators have a higher percentage of receptions. So that makes it easier for them also to execute those combination plays.
Kairami and Jacob coming in just to change things up a little bit. for Coach George Pascua. As Marvin Villanueva will now be serving for PGJC Navy. Back set, Saura. Ooh, I think that was a double touch on Hakob. They get a little bit lucky as the rally will continue. Good presence on the blockers there. Nice pickup from Adao. And Defendero will send it across. We continue this rally, the longest of this match so far. The blocking on point for the Navigators.
That has been the advantage of the Navigators here in this match through net defense. Let's take a look at this denial of Greg Tudor.
Lead extended to 5 points, 18-13. Notice the serving. Dolor will not be denied this time. Energy that is what Greg Dolor always brings to the table for PGJC Navy.
And you know, he always celebrates each point that he gets. This is an important serve here for Navy. This would be a costly error now for Navy.
A bit of confusion due to the substitution, perhaps.
Could be, yes. So I think the server should have been Greg Dolor already.
So our table officials still conversing with our second referee to clarify exactly what happened.
You know, sometimes those substitutions really can do, can cause some confusion. So it's really important, that when you get in, you're really mindful of your position or who is the next person.
So after all of that, a point for the Navigators, 19-14, lead back up to 5. That's an unforced error.
Yeah, very costly error there for Navy.
And now it's Apolinario serving again. Made a mistake earlier. Oh, another one. Left the first one short. Now overcooks this one.
4 service errors now for the Navigators.
You don't expect to win all of those points that turned out to be service errors. But if you win 50%, that's
right.
2 more points for you, 2 points for your opponent. Saura eager to get it back. We go to De Pedro. Oh, what a time. Coming from De Pedro, Apolinario was not able to send it up.
That's right. Opportunity there for Navy. A little confusion on the side of the Navigators.
Because when it's the second ball, it feels like it's always the responsibility of the setter first. Meanwhile, a service error, an ill-timed one for PGJC Navy, right when they were getting a little bit of rhythm.
3rd service error on the side of Navy.
Kept this one safe. Fairami with the set. Push. Nice time from Apolinario. But a chance ball here. They go to the middle. Kiel picked up. De Pedro with a dive. Good effort defensively coming from both these teams. Camposano puts it away.
Good recovery there for the Navigators. You would think that the momentum was already on the side of Navy. Good coverage, good recovery. Only one blocker going up against Camposano.
So busy on one end that Camposano had free space on the other. Oh, that was a Nice hit coming from Sumagay's side. King will just allow it to sail out of bounds. 4-point deficit for PGJC Navy. Navy still in this. And within striking distance, let's see if they can turn things around. This is Hope serving correctly this time. Oh, but it's another error. Leaves that one wide.
4 service errors as well on the side of Navy. So again, these errors, these are the errors from the service line is one of the things that they need to control, especially if they have been playing catch up. This is the start of this set.
Sumagay side serving. Sharp one. Putandera back. Leok as well. Pascal picks it up. They will go to Leok. Denied. Roofed by Nursidik and Camposano.
The net defense of the Navigators has been exceptional here so far in the first set. Challenge on the side of Navy. Coach George would like to challenge a net touch.
These are the dual-purpose challenges. You hope for a net touch, but it's also a bit of a timeout for your squad.
Right, that's right, that's right. Also, a breather for them to regain their momentum, talk amongst themselves, try to reorganize themselves. So Navy has been playing scrappy at the start of this match. So a lot of unforced errors, miscues. And it's not helping that the Navigators are really defending the net very well. They've also been defending the floor very well. The reception has been on point for the Navigators.
The blocking has felt like it's the biggest advantage, right?
It has been, because it shifts it kind of affects the attackers as well on the other side. You know, the attackers are being a bit more careful, forcing them to commit some attack errors.
You tend to load up a little bit more power or try to work the angles, which could be prone to your aforementioned mistakes. As again, we're waiting for the result of a challenge coming from Coach George Pasqua, looking for a net touch on that kill block. Let's see it.
Is there a net touch? No,
didn't appear like there was one. Okay, the result on the floor was confirmed on the replay. But again, it was the other purpose is to break the momentum a little bit for the Navigators, as Sumagay Sai will serve again. Six-point advantage for Iloilo. Back row attack, that's straight into the net.
So, set was a bit too low, I think.
And now Coach George Pasqua will ask for a timeout. We're at set point for the Navigators. Let's listen into the huddle of the Navy.
Sayang eh. Pag nawala kayo dun sa natin, ito lang, napakasimple. Pag nawala sa game plan natin, lahat yan pop-up yan. Lahat yan mawawala yan. Subukan kaya natin kung ano yung ginagawa natin sa training. Huwag yung gagawin kung ano yung hindi ginagawa sa training. Kasi may game plan tayo eh. And then follow instruction. Napakadali na ng volleyball. Kaya kayo minsan nawawala. Bumabalik pa rin yung bad attitude nyo na pagka nagkakaroon ng puso, hindi nyo na kung sino bibigay ng bola. Lahat kayo humingi ng bola. Let's go, Navy!
Still going back to that old reminder of just go to what you practice.
Right. Well, that's the reason why you practice it. You're supposed to apply it in the game.
San Andres in attendance, supporting the Navigators shirt.
So Navy has already committed 10 errors here in the first set. That's quite a lot.
De Pedro tried, really tried to keep that ball alive.
I thought he would have managed to save that, but good effort at the side of the Navigators.
That's how much this game means to them, and actually how much each and every point will mean to the Navigators and their hopes of making it to the finals. Siddiq with a hammer, and that will do it for the first set. They were able to establish a bit of separation early in the set, and they never really looked back. Yes, there was a time when the lead was cut down to 1 by PGJC Navy.
That's right, and really well prepared. You have this goal in mind, finishing off set number 1, 25-3.
Cakes or chocolates?
Chocolate.
Ace or kill?
Ace.
Down the line or off the block?
Down the line.
Serve or receive?
Serve.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Monster block or fireball?
Monster block.
Dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Moments away from the start of the second set, a lot of adjustments will have to be made on the side of Coach George Pascua's PGJC Navy as we check out the highlights of that opening set. It started out well because there are a lot of players, attackers activated by Apolinario. We saw some hits coming from the likes of Siddiq and Camposano. Itong si De Pedro also got look. Saura, itong si Sumagaysay na lang yata yung hindi pa nakakapuntos masyado as his slide attacks have been defended well by Navy.
That's right. So it has been a slow start for Navy. They've had a lot of scrappy plays. The Navigators, on the other hand, it seemed like they came in well prepared. They've been defending very well. They committed several service errors, but I think that's part of the game plan, really, to put pressure on the reception on the side of Navy. And the numbers were set number 1. Navy actually had more attack points, but it has been the blocking, the defense at the net for the Navigators that made it easy for them to win set number 1. And also, while the Navigators have not scored any service ace, the pressure that also they have put from the service line, that also influenced the success rate for Navy being able to execute any clean plays or clean attacks.
So the number of strong serves coming from the Navigators equate to that big number in errors coming from the side of the Navy. As we begin second set, we were talking about him, that he was not being activated enough, and now the first touch of the second set was presented to JB Sumagaysay.
Yeah, so he heard you. The JB Sumagaysay has only 1 point in set number 1, so he scores his second point. Top scorer for the Navigators is Siddiq with 6 points, followed by Saura with 5, and De Pedro with 1. Camposano has 2 points. For Navy, on the other hand, it's that man over there, Greg Dolor, scores 5 points, and Liok de la Vega with 2, Supida with 1, and Hirano with 1.
Apolinario with the set. Saura goes cross-court, picked up. Kalingking will set it up. That will be out. That will sail out against Omar Liok.
And the errors, these are things that the Navy would really need to watch out for.
And later on, after this matchup, crisscross King Crunchers going up against the Signal HD Spikers. They had a monster game during their prelims meeting, so expect another good one between those two budding rivals.
That's right. And I'm sure the Navigators will be watching that game because, as we mentioned earlier, so a win in this match is important for the Navigators to have a bigger chance to move on to the finals. But their chances are still dependent also on the results of the match of Signal and the crisscross Crunchers. And the number of sets that the Navigators win here is also very crucial. So it's I think it's going to be an advantage for them if they win in 3 sets.
How about that first kill block of the game for PGJC Navy, courtesy of their team captain Greg Dolor.
And they would need more of that. Well, at least to just put in more pressure on the attackers of the Navigators.
Saura, send back. Apolinario with the set. Saura again, power tip, finds the gap in the defense.
Smart move from Saura. He has been denied. Adjusts his attack, finding only one blocker going up against him, and looking at that hole in the middle of the defense of Navy.
No feels has been quiet. Toto de la Vega.
Yeah, actually. Well, he was out, you know, for the most part of set number 1. So he has been back, but has not scored quite a lot. But quite interesting, you know, he only had a few minutes to play in set number 1, but he already scored 2 points.
So let's see if they would go to De La Vega more here in the second set. Another service error against the Navigators. But they quickly make up for it with that attack from Camposano.
Excellent play from the Navigators. Really making it difficult for the blockers of Navy. Let's take a look at that. A lot of these combination plays breaking the block of the Sea Lions.
Used to be a middle blocker, now you're playing a different role for the Navigators. Big serve from Saura. That's the lure. Oh, got a bit lucky there. As the ball danced on the tape before falling on the side of the Navigators.
Again, you gotta love how Greg Dolor celebrates every point that he gets.
You're not allowed to feel down if you're in a team with Greg Dolor.
Correct. Kasi diba, even in set number 1, they were playing catch-up, pero lahat ng points na nagawa niya, you know, yung parang it seems like sila yung lamang.
Camposano scoring again off the block this time around. Will regain the lead here. The jump was a little early from the defense of Pudadera. Short serve, almost an ace. Dolor finds the line.
It has been all Greg Dolor here for Navy, but you know, he would definitely need some support because once the Navigators are able to figure out his attacks, then somebody else would need to put in the points.
But at least a much better start to this
That's
set.
right.
For PGJC Navy, exactly what they needed to get their confidence back. And that will be a misconnection. Mababa masyado from Apolinario Norsidik. Did not find a way to rescue the play.
The first time that Navy finds themselves in the lead here in this match, 6-5.
Dolor will serve again. Trying to add to this 1-point advantage. Saura picked up, but that will be impossible to keep alive for the Navy.
Another good attack from the pipe. Saura cross-court hit just too strong for Greg Dolor.
Over reception. Oh, but De La Vega is there. Rare attack coming from Pudadera. Did not amount to anything, but the blocking is there now. That's 2 blocks coming from a set where they did not get a single one for the Navy.
This is what we mentioned in set number 1 that they really need to work on. And this is a good start for Navy. This is an indication of how the defense would improve moving on in this match. Then that would be good for Navy.
Almost our first service ace. Apolinario was able to dive for it. not pretty coming from the Navy, but they get another crack at it. Smart hit from Dolor once again, seeing the gaps in the defense of the Navigators as PGJC Navy will take a 2-point lead into the first technical timeout from the back row. They were expecting it to be a strong one, but he just kissed it off his fingertips. Point. PGJC up by 2.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf Open Conference 2024 semifinals for the Navy Sea Lions. I was able to talk to their team captain, Greg Dolor, and Greg shared to me an honest perspective of the team. And the team's morale has not been at its best. It's been inconsistent after getting eliminated from finals contention. It really took a toll on the team. But since their previous loss, they have continued to train every day and put one foot in front of the other. And ultimately, they are now focused on the updated goal, and that's winning the bronze. And the Navy Sea Lions, they've completely embraced this new mission of theirs, and they're unfazed on getting that podium finish. Back to you, Carl and Ivy.
Thank you for that report, ladies, as we resume action. PGJC Navy still up by 1. There's a smart tap coming from Sumagay side just to keep this ball in play. Saura with a miss hit. They're calling no touch. Another point for the Navy.
So that keeps the Navy in the lead. 9 serving 7.
And you can see Greg Dolor played at this level, right, from the first set. But now his teammates are trying to match his energy, match his effort. And it's turning out well for them. Peter Tiel was not able to get out of the way. As Coach George Pasco saying, if there is something like that happens again, hit it high para mas mataas yung porsyento na mabuhay pa yung bola.
That's right. So Navy still in the lead. A better start here in the second set. Good pass.
And that is the result. When they have a good first ball, they can attack quickly. And actually, they had more attacks than the Navigators in the first set, 12-10.
That's really what's interesting there. You know, they had more attacks. And it's just the errors that really hurt a Navy in the first set.
Posano, even the talented Kalingking was not able to keep that one in play.
By Posano. Totally avoiding the block of De La Vega.
And he's given a yellow card. Maybe the celebration was too big for...
Kinasa ko siya kanina, nagbibalwan nila. Nag-warning ako sa kanila. Ulitin nila. Pwede ulitin. Oo, may red card dito. Red card!
Celebrate.
It's worth the yellow.
That's right.
So now I think we're ready to resume action. JV Sumagay, you see his numbers, an attack and a block. Got activated early here in the second set. Let's see if they can get him more touches.
Last touch from the Navigators. De La Vega's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
His attempts has all been answered back.
Timeout for the Navigators. Let's listen in.
Referee.
Focus lang tayo, guys.
Focus lang.
Malayo pa yan, malayo pa yan. Dahan-dahan.
Focus ha, walang... Ha? Bakit na yung momentum? Daan lang. Samahan siya, wala.
It was about this stage in the first set when PGJC Navy trimmed the deficit down to 1. And Coach Boyet Del Moro called the timeout, and they created that separation again of 4 points, which just allowed them to stroll to that first set win. Let's see if it could happen again if they respond to this timeout by playing a bit better as you continue on with the second set. Polinario goes back to Saura. That will be denied.
The challenge, I think, would be called in by the Navigators.
Ano nagbibiro? Okay? Ako po, siyempre dito, din yung ginagala.
And they're trying to clarify what
Okay, challenge yun.
is going to be first before
Isaura, sabihin mo si Isaura. Violation sa'yo. Okay. Doon dito bola.
second set, but every point is crucial.
That's right. So, not quite clear what the call was. But I think it was in favor of Navy.
Maybe, yeah. But what do you even challenge? What, right? I mean,
You're not sure what the
What
call
was
was.
the
Yeah, but
foot
didn't
fault?
quite get the conversation with the referee, so I didn't quite catch what the call was. But a foot fault challenge was being raised anyway by the Navigators.
so again, the challenge officially is footfall. They're saying that one of the PGJC Navy players crossed illegally.
So again, this could really change the momentum of the game. Whoever it turns out to be in favor of. So Navy is pretty much on a good start. So they're playing better than they did in set number 1. The Navigators, actually nothing has changed, in the way that they're playing. They're still playing well. It's just that Navy was able to pick up their game.
Elevated, no? That's why they have the lead right now.
They're receiving better. They're defending the net better. The foot fault is on the side of the Navigators, so the point is awarded to Navy.
An unsuccessful challenge coming from the Navigators. We continue on. With the score now at 12-9 in favor of the Navy. For the Navigators, again, as much as possible, you want a 3-set sweep. That's why they will play every point with reckless abandon, because they know that at least right now, that's the best that they can do.
That's right.
A little later on, wala ka nang magagawa eh. There's nothing that you can do to help signal, defeat Crisscross, but now this is still on your side. This is still something that you can manage.
That's right. So it's really hard, when you're depending on other teams for your chances. And Greg Dolor, of course, taking matters into his own hands. He has been the bright spot here for Navy. Take a look at his last attack over the blocker.
And Greg Dolor saying, really? A setter one-on-one against me? That's not fair. You know, sometimes it would feel like Greg Dolor is on the sunset of his campaign with the PGJC Navy. Sometimes it feels like he's about to slow down and really give the reins to the other talented younger
But
players.
then again,
Then he reminds us that
no, not yet, not yet. It's not yet time.
I'm still one of the best players here
That's right.
in Spiker's turf. They go back to Dolor, and he will score again. Scoring at will here in this game.
Back-to-back points for Greg Dolor. And I think the Navigators are feeling the pressure now. This is the last hit off the hands of the blockers. No coverage.
Apolinario again was a target coming from Greg Dolor.
Dolor now with the 11 points, 62% success rate with his attack. So that's how efficient he has been so far.
We're just in our second set. Already double-digit scoring numbers. Another smart hit coming from Francis Saura. What's good about him is he's varying
That's
his
right.
attacks.
You can see how he's reading the defense of his opponent very well. So hindi pa sa palo ng palo, but he's really trying to put it on the right spot.
Oh, that's another good hit from Leok this time. And the attack percentage impressive for PGJC Navy here in the second set.
One thing about it is because they are receiving better. Again, targeting the smaller blocker, all of the attacks are going through Apolinario.
Saura powers it home this time. As Greg Dolor could not get to it.
Who do you go to?
Yeah.
He has been effective in the front, but he's also been producing points from the back. Saura really is one of very, very versatile player.
Apolinario serving. That block will sail out against Sumagay Sai, and that will send us to our second technical timeout of your second set. It will be the Navy once again having the advantage, 16-13 against the Navigators. Arena Plus, a stakes of sports. You're taking a live look at some of our friends who join us here inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum in eager anticipation of what should be a fun doubleheader here in the final day of the semifinals for your Spikers Turf Open Conference. We thank you for joining us on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and Pilipinas Live on the report. With Ivy Remulia on the call with response coming from Engay as he checked in a couple of plays ago, replacing the Pedro. If you're Navy, you can't feel too comfortable with this 2-point lead. It could evaporate quickly. But their attacking is still on point, and now we're seeing some cracks in the defense of the Navigators.
So Navy is able to, the aggressiveness that they're displaying right now somehow has rattled the defense of the Navigators.
They go to Camposano, the soft touch, good pancake save, kept alive, sent across by Dolor. Saura, the block goes out against Dolor. But still, you like the presence, you like the activity.
That's right. And that would have been better than a kill from the attack, you know. So at least you know that you're able to read the attacks already of the Navigators. Good pass.
Good back set there as they finally send a touch to Joven de la Vega as he extends their lead to 3.
Again, de la Vega still has been pretty quiet here in this match. This attack goes off the hands of Camposano.
Camposano goes cross-court with the kill.
And there's no fast sets of the Navigators. These are what makes it challenging, you know, for Navy to defend. The blockers are not able to position themselves fast enough. Dolor tries a sharp angle.
Iniwas niya kay Nursilik, maybe some respect to the blocking capabilities of Raj Nursilik. It's down now to a 1-point lead.
Oh, not the best of receptions.
Miss hit coming from Greg Dolor, and look at this, we're all tied up at 18 apiece. That will force the hand of Coach George Pascual to request this timeout.
Hindi na kailangan magtapon eh, di ba? Hindi kailangan mamigay sa kalaban. Okay lang mag-block. May coverage tayo. Hindi kayo magtapon. Kailangan natin to. Kailangan mong manalo. Di ba pwedeng mananalo tayo, nagtatapon kayo. Tapangan nyo. Mga system na yun, tapangan ninyo. Pwede kayo mag-drop. Hindi yan. Itulak mo lang dito, huwag madali. Iba yung set na galing sa receive, iba yung set na galing sa block, iba yung set sa transition. So, iisip pa pa mo lang dito, nandito yung maliit ha.
18-18 is the count right now. Earlier, it was a technical aspect that was being reminded by Coach George. Now it's just fight for this. We put ourselves in this position. We've proven that we can take the lead, take this home. And that is exactly what they needed. A response coming from Sapida.
It was a good response coming from the timeout. Of Navy are activated as much. So a lot of the attacks goes to the wing hitters.
Wow, what a rocket from Camposano. The power behind that hit, I think.
That's right. Really contact as well. Really making it difficult for the defenders of Navy. The combination plays of the Navigators. So it's really breaking the block of Navy. So two-man substitution for Navy. We're tied 19 all.
Short serve. Oh, and then the lefty hit. I don't think the defense of the Navigators were ready for
Yeah,
it.
that's right. Plus, it was also a good combination play. Let's take a look at that. Sapida just with that right approach, leaving no blocker actually for the outside hitter.
Because that set would have been horrible for a right-hander. It was perfect for a lefty. And he just came in. And Saura is sent back here. The blocking elevated for PGJC Navy.
Again, that has been what was missing in set number 1. They could not position themselves for the attacks of the Navigators because this time around they're reading the attackers better. They've scored several points already off the block and they're finding themselves again up by 2, 21 serving 19.
Greg Dolor, team captain, leading the attack here for the Navy. Good serve. Ooh, that's a mistake from Apolinario.
Rare mistake that we see.
And a quick service replacement here, and veteran Dante checks in for the first time. From a tie, 3 straight points for the Navy. Now they're 3 away from tying this match at 1 set apiece. That is a service error coming from Greg Delor.
2 service errors in this set for Navy.
Siddiq about to serve. Sharp one. Oh, that was a mistake from Dante. But it's kept alive. Liok will send it across. Dante with a set. Off angle for Saura. Delor roofed, denied. That is a crucial point won by the Navigators.
3-man block going up against Greg Delor. The respect that they have for this man. Let's take a look at that once again. Perfectly timed. Well, they anticipated that it would be given to Delor, so they really had the luxury of positioning themselves for that block.
It's too obvious that it will be a pipe attack. The defense from the back. Siddiq will set it up. Kalingking. This time going to Villanueva. There's a denial. Ball still alive. Oh, double contact. It's called by our official. No move coming from side of Navy to challenge that ball. So 3 straight points for Navy. Then the response is 3 straight points for the Navigators. Tied again at 22. What a statement coming from Villanueva. A sub coming in, scoring 2 crucial points here in this late stage.
Not expected by the defense of the Navigators, so Navy finds themselves ahead again by 1 point, 23-22. Well, this is going to be a crucial serve. So this serve needs to go in. Doesn't necessarily have to be an ace, but it has to go in.
This is Karangia. Sent in to replace Sapida for exactly this purpose. Oh my goodness. That is painful.
3 service errors for Navy, and that service could be a costly error for Navy. We're tied 23 all. So the Navigators, an advantage would be a 3-set win for them.
Then Dante with a safe serve. Here we go back to Villanueva, but he sends it straight into the net. We are at set point for the Navigators. Not net for a bit, and now what a time for them to take command of this set once again.
Then natakihin natin ulit. Kailangan pagka nag-decide kayo, huwag kayong magdalawang isip. Kung papaluin nyo ba, kung ano, sige, pero sa'yo ninyo, ilabas nyo yung buong lakas ninyo. Kasi kinokontrol ninyo. Unang-una, naghahabol tayo. Dapat hindi na kayo nagdadalawang isip eh. Ang tanging papalo sa isip nyo, kailangan, kung putos tayo, kailangan mapatay natin to. Kaya kung wala kayong tiwala na pumatay ng bola, mahirapan talaga tayo. Tiwala lang.
PGJC Navy worked so hard to try and get a bounce-back win here in the second set. That put a lot of pressure on their side. An attacking error coming from Villanueva. As De La Vega and Puladera check back in, replacing Villanueva and Hairami.
It's back-to-back errors for Navy. They are actually in control or in advantage already here in the set. Navigators with set point. So the advantage just need to flip this serve over.
Ayandante serving for the second set. Tough first ball. Oh, that was a miscommunication. Chance ball here. Chance to win the second set. They go to Saura, and that will hit the line. The perseverance displayed by the Navigators only goes to show you that they are a serious threat to make it to the finals.
That's right. They've maintained their composure throughout the set. Navy has had control, had advantage, but they just managed to control these errors, and they were able to secure set number 2.
2-0 advantage, 25-18, 25-23 for the Navigators. Can they go for the sweep? Find out now.
Diba? It's raining in Manila. Mahirap ba mag-isang nanginginig? Nang may love ako sa'yo, kalokoy pag-ibig mo ay tunay, pero hindi nagtagal, lumabas din ng tunay na kulay. Para kang stings, o galing mo'y nakaka-sphinx. Kabet? Stupid love, stupid love, stupid love.
Francis Saura scoring that final point in the second set, delivering all the highlights for the Navigators, but getting a lot of help from his other teammates as well. The second set, at least the first part, was all about what Greg Delord did for the Navy.
I agree. So Greg Delord really shined for Navy in set number 2, and he led the team into a much better performance, and the rest of the team actually followed suit. But it is always the end of the set that's been crucial, to all of the teams, and it's how much you're able to hang on, to the leader, to the momentum. Navy has basically had the lead for the most part of set number 2. The Navigators has had their moments, they've had their highlights, we've had players who produce the points, but the Navy pretty much, we'd expect that they were ahead and they would be able to get the win. And here are the numbers for set number 2, and this time around, the Navigators had more attacks, but the blocking of Navy really worked well in set number 2, and this is one of the reasons why they were able to maintain the lead almost throughout the set. They also scored 1 service ace, but again, like in set number 1, what has hurt the Sea Lions is the number of errors that they have committed. So they had 8 free points given away to the Navigators in set number 2. They had 10 in set number 1. The Navigators, on the other hand, are doing a good job in trying to minimize the errors that they commit.
You were just talking about the errors that they committed, minimizing them. They will need to make sure that they do not get a lot of those. That was a service error. But boy, that late service error coming from Navy,
that's right. It's really going to hurt.
Took the air out of their sails, right? You just saw them kind of slump a bit.
Yes.
Because that was it for them. That was their
energy
chance.
changed, after that. Saura once again scoring for the Navigators. He's the top scorer, the lone double-digit scorer for the Navigators with 12 points. Campusano is the second top scorer with 9. Nursidik with 6. Sumagaysay 4. De Pedro with 1. And the other side of the court, It's Dolor with 13, Yok 7, De La Vega with 3, Supida and Villanueva both with 3 points, and Kiel with 1.
And that is where you really need some more help. You know, De La Vega, Sapida, Kiel. They will have to produce more than that to help out Greg
That's
Dolor.
right. That's right. So far, Dolor has been the only consistent scorer for Navy.
For the Navigators, mas balance eh, di ba? Kahit na double digits na itong si Saura, everyone getting
That's
touches.
right. That's right.
We have a clear number 2 in Camposano. As Francis Saura will serve here to break this 2-2 deadlock. Oh, that is a service ace. The first ace for the Navigators in this match.
Saura has been doing it all for the Navigators, spiking at the front, spiking at the back, and even at the service line, he's scoring.
You know, sometimes you can expect a little bit of a letdown when you're the team that's trying to tie the count at one set apiece. You do well only to lose it in the end. May konting, syempre, parang may konting kaba rin yan at the start of the third set. Because as hard as you worked, you were not able to win the second set. And now another point here coming from Francis Saura. Looks like Boya Del Moro will allow the veteran Kim Dayan Dante to be the setter here in the third set. Di maganda yung batok
No,
nito
that's
si
right.
Francis Saura. Hesitated on it already, but he still tried to power it through.
So the Navigators still at the 1 point advantage, 3 serving 4.
Usually pag ganun, when your throw is not good, what are your options?
You know, just put the ball safely over. And yun din usually din yung ano eh, yung challenge when you do a jump serve. Kasi a lot of it really has to do with the proper throw. So yung iba, you would see if medyo mali yung tapon, kahit mahina, ano lang, basta maipasok lang.
Safe serve coming from Camposano. De La Vega sent back. He'll pick it up. On the other side now, Dolor. That one sails out, and now you can see there, even Greg Dolor is slowing down a bit. They need to start feeling good about themselves once again. They will need a spark here. Let's see who can provide it for the Navy. That will be another miss-hit. Sapida sending it wide, and this is starting to look like the first set for the Navigators.
That's right. So the errors again, these are what's hurting Navy. So while the Navigators are putting in the points, you're getting the kills, but the Navy is also helping, you know, with these mistakes.
Good touch on the block just to slow that down. Engay with a miss hit.
Lucky break for Navy.
That's an attacking error, and now Joven De La Vega is serving. He will need to start making noise here in the third set before it's too late. And that is the perfect way to do it, a service ace.
Excellent angle chosen by De La Vega.
So at least some life coming from PGJC Navy. Another strong serve. And I will just send it across. Block goes out, and Navy is back in business.
So just a 1 point advantage now for the Navigators.
Another strong serve, but this one sails a bit long. And that will send us to our first technical timeout of the third set. A 2-point advantage for the Navigators, 8-6.
Back inside the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila, coming off the Navigators huddle, the players admit that they were swayed by their emotions a couple of times. They're aware of their lack of composure and focus. At the same time, the team's veterans, Edwin Camposano, Kim Dayadante, JV Sumagaysay, leading their team, reminding them, encouraging each other to stay composed and to regroup. For the Navigators, there was not much technical adjustments during that timeout, but more of emotionally and mentally regrouping themselves for the rest of the match. Carlo and Ivy?
Thank you for that report, Baileys, as we restart the action here in the third set. Nursedik with a serve. Kalingking able to chase it down. They will still attack, and there was no defense. Too casual coming from the Navigators.
They probably thought that it was already a broken play, but no movement at all on the side of the Navigators. So that was a good point by Greg Dolor.
Literal na pinanood nila yung pangyayari.
That's right.
Could that be a momentum turner in favor of the Navy? Let's find out as Dolor serves. Decent first ball to work with. Oh, but they did not connect. They make up for it though with a better effort, the blocking department.
So that defense from the Navigators.
That was Sumagaysay getting a touch on it. But since Dayandante is a little taller than Apolinario, hindi mo rin matatarget masyado,
That's
no?
right.
Like what Navy did in the second set. That is a good cross-court kill for Joven De La Vega.
And Navy would need more of that from De La Vega.
Eight serving 9. Navy trying to tie this contest. Not a great first ball. Saura at least makes something out of it. Then Dante goes to the back set. Engay with the angle. Goes down the line.
Good angle by Engay. Navigators maintaining a good lead here in the set. So again, for the Navigators, a 3-set win will be important, but that does not assure them just yet of a spot in the finals. Like we mentioned earlier, a lot of it would still depend on the results of the game of Crisscross going up against Signal. So if Crisscross wins also in 3 or 4 sets, then it's going to be a they would be looking at the ratio now of sets from the Navigators and Crisscross. If Iloilo wins in 3 sets, let's say Crisscross wins in 4, so they would be tied. So that would depend already in the points. So that means that they have, all the points that they've won in all the matches would now matter for the Navigators.
Francis Saura serves up a facial there against De La Vega, and this will lead to a timeout that will be requested by Coach George Pasqua, as this lead is starting to swell in favor of the Navigators.
Let's go!
12-8, a 4-point lead for the Navigators. And they've shown us their capacity to keep a lead, so you do not want this to go even higher if you're part of the Navy. You need to answer back right here, right now. And that will be a good battle back coming from Greg Dolor.
3-point advantage now for the Navigators. 9 serving 12.
And the question we pose is, who will help out Greg Dolor? Because you don't know anymore where the hits are coming from when it comes to the Navigators.
That's right. The ball is really well distributed. Everybody gets their opportunity as Sumagaysay scores a point for the Navigators. That's what is actually challenging Navy right now in terms of defense, because of the variety of the Navigators. You know, it's difficult for them to defend.
That violation against the defense of the Navigators, Camposano tagged with it. But you cannot exchange points. If you're the Navy, you need to rally. Let's see if they can at least score back-to-back points. Good defense from the back. Pudodera sets it up. De La Vega sent back. Smart hit, but would it go? Oh, it will go wide.
So Navy calling for a touch. And they would challenge this block touch.
Block touch will be the official challenge coming from Coach George Pascua.
Now this is an important point. If
Yeah,
Navy
absolutely.
is able to get this, so shift of momentum. Well, they're still down. They would still be down by 2, but you know, every point that they get is very important. And I think it's really more of the momentum as well. You know, they have to have things go on to their side. Oh, there seemed to be a touch.
May
Looked
gumalaw
like
eh.
it.
Oo,
Looked
eh,
like
oh.
it.
There was
Yeah.
a slight touch. Successful challenge from the PGJC Navy Sea Lions as they cut their deficit down to 2. Engay will pick it up almost reluctantly, as this will be a good chance for the Navy. They go to Peter Kiel, and that finds the line.
But there's a challenge to the call by
They were
Team
split down the middle.
Navigators.
Saura would have preferred not to challenge that anymore, but Adao was requesting because he was right in front of it. So now it's a ball-in, ball-out challenge on that hit coming from Peter Kiel.
It was quite hard to judge,
Yeah.
though, because it was a long ball. It looked like it nipped the line, but could have been outside as well.
So from our angle, we don't know.
Yeah.
that's,
we didn't have the best view of it.
that's what we can tell you. Oh, that is
It
so
is
in.
in.
Yeah.
It is so in.
Upon review, the ball went in. So the challenge by Team Navigators.
So things are looking good. They're
Yeah.
looking better for Navy.
The Team Navigators have one
They trimmed the
remaining
lead down to
challenge
1,
for the
12
set.
serving 13.
Point
You're
goes to
right
Navy,
there.
12 serving 13.
Back in it. That will be clearly out for Liok. Giving up the point here
Again,
to the Navigators.
These are the costly errors on the side of Navy. These are what's hurting them. You know, they get the momentum and then they commit an error. But pretty much we have a strong front line here for Navy, so they should take advantage of this rotation.
Good serve this time from Francis Saura. But a quick answer back coming from Peter Kiel as the middle is all of a sudden activated for the Navy.
This is that last attack from Kiel. Only one blocker challenging him.
Gunning for the tie is the Navy. Camposano goes cross court.
Camposano is really finding those angles, avoiding the hands of the block. Very sharp.
Back to a 2-point lead. Camposano has been keeping his service safe. De La Vega picked up by Edward. And Guy did not put a lot of power behind it. And speaking of power, how about this coming from De La Vega?
One of the better hits from De La Vega. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that. Let's take a look at that once again. Got one blocker coming in too late to defend.
So that series of events would not have happened if Engay attacked with more vigor, right? If he really tried to punish the defense, hindi makaka-opensa ng ganun kadali, ganun kaganda ang Navy. And now we're all tied up after that attacking error coming from Nursidik. And Coach Boyet Del Moro will not even allow it to head to the second technical timeout. He would want to rest this kid, calls his whole timeout.
Huwag magmamadali. Outside yung kanina. Kapit lang guys, tulong lang, tulong-tulong tayo. Alagaan natin yan, ha? Alagaan lang. All lang yan.
Sa kanyon. Layulin. Sa kanyon.
They have lost their advantage. Can they rebound here with the score tied at 15 apiece? Mr. Ricapalu and Miss Beatan in attendance, joining hundreds here inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. And a lot of them are in awe with the kind of power being employed by Francis Saura as they take the lead 16-15, second technical timeout of your third set. Our semi-final standings, Signal HD Spikers looking good, 2-0. Crisscross King Crunchers at 1-1. The Navigators Iloilo also at 1-1. And PGJC Navy Sea Lions no longer have the chance to make it into the finals, even if there's a three-way tie at 1-2 because of their inferior set quotient. So it will be up to the Navigators Iloilo and the Crisscross King Crunchers to figure out which team will be headed to the finals.
That's how tight, the standings are.
The postseason of the association is finally here. Watch 2024 NBA playoffs on NBA TV Philippines, One Sports, and Pilipinas Live. Everything counts. Hashtag NBA on Signal. Minnesota Timberwolves defeating the Denver Nuggets earlier. As we were enjoying the action before, this is the start of this volleyball doubleheader. And we're back to a deadlock, as that was a point for the Navy to tie the contest at 16. Expect another heavy serve coming from the team captain, Greg Dolor, the service area. Much better coming from Engay this time.
Engay challenging the block.
That's what's needed needed, right? You have to be aggressive.
Right.
You can't be half-hearted in a game like this with what could be on the line for the Navigators, a possible final spot. Because you know what? Even before the start of the competitions, everyone was already writing Signal HD Spikers versus Crisscross King Crunchers for the final. But that huge win, a 4-set win for the Navigators, changed the mood, and now they could put themselves in a perfect situation.
That's right. So they just need to replicate the kind of performance that they had over at that last match. Well, at least, you know, to secure themselves for a bigger chance to move on to the finals. But so far, so good here for the Navigators. They're up by 2 sets. Well, they're tied right now, but still, the momentum is on their side.
Service error from Sapida, another ill-timed one. You know what, for the Navy, you could just imagine how bad they will feel with all those errors that they've committed in this match. 18 in the first 2 sets. A soft touch. That was a good pickup coming from Kiel from the back row. Chumbinko will set it up, and that is a point for Francis Saura.
Golden hands here from Francis Saura. Even the broken play was able to turn into a point. They're challenging the defense of Navy.
Well, the guy had 30 in their prelims battle. He's hoping not to need 30 points this game. And Chumbinko will not be able to keep that in play.
Apologies from the coach. He was on the...
Coach, eh.
Oh.
With all due respect. They can
the
smile
coach
it
was
off.
saying,
Kasi,
it's on me, it's
Yep,
on
yep.
me, masing.
Sila pa rin naman yung lamang. So De La Vega checks back in. Pudadera alongside him. (18) serving 19. Testy moments here in the 3rd set. Good pickup coming from the Andante. And his ball is kept in play. Scramble here. Sumagaysay with the set. Camposano became a little too aggressive there as the score is tied at 19 again.
Lucky break for Navy. Navy is hanging on here. They're holding on. So what really is crucial on the side of Navy is just not to commit any error. Other than that, you know, they're playing quite well.
Absolutely.
The Navigator has been very consistent, if you might say.
And that is a good response. Sumagaysay earlier admitted that that might have been a mistake to back set it to Camposano. And now they go back to the old usual, the middle attack coming from JB. Liok sent back. Back row, Dolor. That could not be kept in play by Sumagaysay, and we're back to a deadlock at 20 apiece.
So the Navigators is just 5 points away, one step closer into the finals. Navy trying to, you know, just make things more difficult for the Navigators.
Camposano towering over the block of De La Vega. The Navigators managing to stay ahead, pero pa isa-isa lang. Oh, super safe serve coming from Saura. Camposano to save it. And this rally will continue. That was denied. That was sent back. A very high ball. Saura will send it out. Tied again. Everyone on the edge of their seats here in this third
But
set.
I'm sure, especially for the fans of the Navigators, because this is really an important win for them. And, you know, better save. It's safer for them if they win this in 3.
Chance ball, though, for the Navy.
But they go to De La Vega off
And that
the
will be a
block.
check ball.
Navy really making it difficult for the Navigators.
And now a timeout requested. You know, we were right here in a similar situation in the third set. Let's listen in to this huddle.
Para yung check goal. Kapitan natin yan, guys. Kapitan natin. Okay. Stay block.
Isa lang ha.
May pala ginawa natin yung kanina.
Michael, yung serve niya, biglang bumababa. Ingat lang kayo.
Sige, let's go. Go, go, go. Tara, isang pasa. Isang pasa tayo. Let's go. Hey, Nabi.
Go!
Brace yourselves as athletes and sports lovers have no holds barred conversation with Sean Ildefonso. Watch Sean Time exclusively on Pilipinas Live. Download and subscribe now. One-point lead for the Navy. Not anymore, says Camposano.
And he manages to squeeze that in between the two blockers. Set up by the Andante. Look at that. Small space.
Walang problema doon. Ang problema natin yung depensa sa likod, doon kayo sa opposite side ng blocker. Kasi nangyayari, sumusunod kayong pareho, kaya nawawala yung depensa, nawawala yung blocking natin. Diba? So, one good attack lang. Doon mo ulit ang bigay mo bola. Sige, commit ka lang. Pag may sumabay, tapon doon. Abang sa
apiece here in the third set. The Navigators Iloilo wanting to wrap things up for the best chance of qualifying for the finals. De La Vega dug up by Saura. Engay with the left hand. Sent up by Kalingking. De La Vega slowed down by the blocks. They go to the back set. Saura off speed. Dug up. Back to Joven. Power tip. Chumbinko was there. Dayan Dante could not rescue that ball. Lead goes back to Navy by 1.
Navy is hanging on here, and they're doing a good job, actually. Just trying to keep the pace.
De La Vega now serving. Now you're seeing a lot more attempts coming from Joven.
I think they're calling for a foot fault.
Coach George Pasco disagrees as he will call a challenge immediately.
But Joven wasn't sure if he did step on the line. But that's going to be big here for Navy. If in case that is a foot fault.
This is a call we don't see a lot, right, Ivy? Let's see now what the result will be. Our lines judge is in pins and needles.
Now, remember in set number 2, it was also a service error, you know, that cost Navy in the last stretch.
From someone who was sent in as a service specialist.
Let's take a look.
Oh, that is good.
There was no
foot fault.
line fault. Yeah, that's right. But it was really close. So probably, you know, if you're looking at a different angle, you would have thought that it went in.
So that will be a let.
Point will be replayed.
And it will stay at 23-22. That accidentally freezes the server a little bit, right?
That's right. But he actually had a good serve earlier. But another
good
one.
serve. Saura off speed. Good dive there from Leok. De La Vega. And Dante was right there to pick it up. Engay was slowed down by the block. Putadera with a set. Dolor. That block goes out of bounds.
And when Dolor went up in the air, it seemed as if he was really aiming for the hands. Let's take a look at this once again. That was a big hit from Dolor.
And Nursidik was not able to push that left arm in. Couple of set points here. De La Vega! Service error.
And high risk, high rewards.
Grabe yung tension.
Oh. I can actually feel it, you know. I can feel it in the audience.
Because even the fans of the King Crunchers who have come early, they know that the result will be important here. That's the law, the power tip. Oh, that is picked up. It is kept alive. Engay will commit a net violation. And this game will be extended with this 25-23 set 3 victory for the Navy.
Well, that was difficult for Engay. It was actually too close to the net, and he has towers right in front of him blocking and defending.
And this highly entertaining matchup will continue. First 2 sets belong to the D Navigators Iloilo, but PGJC Navy edging out the Navigators in the third. 25-23 will be back for the fourth.
Practice or rest?
Practice.
Monster block or fireball?
Monster block.
Cakes or chocolates?
Cakes.
Ace or kill?
Kill.
Party out or chill at home?
Chill at home.
OPM or K-pop?
OPM.
Pagalitan ni coach o hindi pansinin ni coach?
Pagalitan ni coach.
That was an eventful third set. It was the Navigators getting going early. It looked like they were sailed to a 3-set win as they were able to establish a bit of separation between them and the Navy. But PGJC is showing their pride, showing their grit and determination to stay within striking distance and then build that slim lead at the tail end of the third set.
Better showing, a better performance on the side of Navy, and we could say that it has been the most steady that they have ever been here in this match. And a lot of contributions on the side of Navy, but what really made the difference as well is, again, they have been defending better. The first balls coming off from the service as the reception has been better as well. So that gave them more opportunity to, you know, try to come up with different ways to attack. As we take a look at the numbers, almost equal footing we see here for both of these teams. It's just the Navigators only up in terms of score by 1. And again, the errors, this has been the story of set number 3. The unforced errors on the side of the Navigators, particularly those that happened at the latter part of the set. That gave the Navy a momentum, and Navy did a good job in trying to control the errors in the latter part of the set.
Referee saying that there was a touch on the block. Peter Kiel is convinced that there was no touch, that it was all tape. And Coach George Pascua will listen and issue a very early challenge. The very first point of the fourth set.
That's right. So this is, again, you know, every point counts here. Although Navy is out of contention in the finals, but they would definitely want to have a good performance and good results here in this game. So we are sure that they would be fighting tooth and nail. But the Navigators, who have a lot more at stake here in this match, they need a 3-set win to have a more, or to have a, guess we can say, a more
Better.
comfortable chance to be moving on to the finals. But they still have a chance if they win this in 4. But again, it would still depend as well on the outcome of the game of the King Crunchers and Signal.
Because if it stretches to 5, the only hope for them to make it,
It's a 5-set match also.
or a win for Signal.
A win for
right?
Signal, that's right,
That would
yeah.
be the thing. They will have to rely on Signal to win it. And there is really no touch. Talagang purong net yung tinamaan. So the first point will indeed go to Navy. Successful challenge once again for Coach George Pascua. Pedro checks into this matchup and then immediately makes an impact. Tagal niya nagpahinga, no? Itong si Enga yung inasahan ni Coach Boyat Del Moro to be that extra attacker for the Navigators. That middle attack was blocked, but it will go out against Sumagaysay.
That's Peter Kiel with a quick attack. Was now 4 points in this match. Dolor leads Navy with 20 points. De La Vega has 8, Yok 7. Villanueva and Kiel both have 4. Almost a good pickup.
Sumagaysay getting another kill of a quick.
That would be Sumagaysay's 8th point. So Francis Saura is leading the Navigators with 17, Camposano with 12, Nursidik with 7, and Ingay with 4.
But the points of Nursidik, a lot of those came in the first set.
Right.
He has actually been very quiet. And most of those, I think, maybe half of those were kill blocks. So yun yung kailangan gawin ngayon ng the Navigators. They need to become, you know, that threat once again on the net like they did in the first.
They just have to make it a bit more difficult, you know, for the attackers of Navy, but not with that error on the serve.
Peter Kiel serving. Oh, combination play. And that is money for the Navigators.
That has always worked well for the Navigators.
Thank you.
Francis Saura will have to stand tall as a leader now for the Navigators. 15 attacks, kill block, an ace. As Greg Dolor continues to pour in the points. 21 now for Greg.
That was one of the more perfect plays executed by Navy, but it all started with a good, perfect receive.
But De La Vega also became a lot more aggressive in that tail end of the third set.
No, he hasn't really scored much, but the pressure that he puts as well on the serve or in his attacks, you know, it also breaks the momentum of the Navigators.
Nabitin yung 1-2 nitong si Dayan Dante as the lead now goes to Navy by 1.
Oh, good serve.
Giant serve coming from De La Vega.
So this is what we're talking about. Not an ace, but breaks the play of the Navigator. Oh, that could have gone outside.
But it was kept alive. De La Vega straight to Saura. Dayan Dante with the set. Camposano. Yung makapatong na atake na yan. Ang hirap pigilan talaga.
That's right. That has been a challenge for Navy. Camposano has been doing an excellent job looking for those angles. That was pretty sharp.
Dahil tumalo nung si Greg Dolor, that was the angle that Camposano went with to score another point.
Pass is good.
De Pedro.
Oh, that
is
made it to
called
the
in.
line. But De Pedro keeping it simple. No, not the hardest of hits, but really aiming for the back row.
Norsidik. Looks like he jammed his finger a bit, but he will be fit to continue as the Navigators retake the lead 6-5. Good read by Norsidik on the block. There's a joust. Norsidik with a pickup. De Pedro attacks again, and that is off the block.
De Pedro once again. He doesn't have sharp hits, not strong hits, but he really chooses the angles.
You know, in that five-setter in the prelims between these two teams, Saura had 30 points. No other player, 5 sets, scored in double digits for the Navigators. So maybe they were still trying to find the trust in each other, because right now it's a more balanced attack, more balanced team. As Greg Dolor adds to his output. Hindi na nasuklit itong si Chumbinko. 6 serving 7. Dolor with another good one. Norsidik will get it through. And that will send us to our first technical timeout of your third set. We've been looking for him. And he is starting to make noise here in your fourth set. We'll take a quick break.
This is the Spikers Turf Open Conference 2024 semifinals. For the Navy Sea Lions, their environment and body language playing more relaxed and loose. They're communicating better, playing with more rhythm and energy. And their head coach, Coach George Pasco, quite animated to his players during that timeout, urging them to play with more willingness and enthusiasm. They won that last set because they were having fun. And they look to continue this for the rest of the match. Back to you, Card and Ivy.
Thank you for that report. As Navy answering back, making sure that they will be right there, just a point away now, as this somehow got through for Liok. Sumagaysay, unable to yank it up as De Pedro. Fresh, a lot of rest in between those first, second, and third sets. That will be another point for the Navy as we're tied again at 8.
And Navy just making it more difficult for the defense of the Navigators. Really nothing fancy, you know, with how they attack, but trying to create as much movement as possible in the floor defense of the Navigators.
And that's a service error, as Sapita has been shaky from that area.
So that creates a 1-point advantage now for the Navigators.
Well, sometimes you have to feel it's mental when it comes to the service, especially when you get repetitive service errors.
You can really feel the pressure every time that you're there at the service line.
Saura really had very few options. The set was a little too forward for him, and as a result, that's another point for the Navy. Back to a deadlock. De Pedro off the block again. And dahil nga mahaba yung pahinga, a lot of energy coming from De Pedro. Certainly making it count here in the fourth set.
And, you know, the time that he was spending outside was probably really looking at, you know, what he can do when once he goes in. And he has been doing a good job. Success rate has been high.
They go to the quick kill. Dug up by De Pedro. Back set, Saura. And Sumagaysay both dug up. From the back row now, Dolor. Great effort there defensively for the Navigators. Saura still cannot score. Good rally here. And that will connect for Omar Liok.
Resilience won on the end of Navy. But Coach George not quite happy, you know, in certain portions of that sequence. Thought that there were certain things that they could have done better. But still the point goes to Navy.
Good first ball to work with. And that's the result. A kill from Compasano.
I love how these combination plays pan out for the Navigators. Ano, parang well orchestrated, very synchronized. Ang gandang tignan.
As long as they get that good first ball.
Right.
Carling was right there. Putadera with the set. Dolor. Wide. Tinamaan yata ang taga-signal sa likod.
A home run there from Dolor. I think he was looking at the hands of the blockers. There's just too much force. No wrist action.
Oh, that's a short serve from Sumagaysay. Almost an ace. De La Vega slowed down by the blocks. Pedro, this is not pretty coming from the Navigators. Peter Kiel. Oh, one-person block as Nur Siddiq scores again.
Perfect defense at the net. Perfect timing. Read that very well. And no coverage on the side of Navy. They find themselves now down by 3 points. 3 consecutive points there for the Navigators.
Timeout now requested by Coach George Pasqua.
Just in case, mabablock. At the same time, kung makukuha ang bola, pwede kang umatake sa gitna. Ngayon, kung nandito ka, wala tayong pesto rito, di tapos na kagad tayo. At least kung nandito ka, pag kung nakareceive ng bola, makaka-atake ka pa. So, gawin nyo yung defense pattern natin. Naintindihan? So, kung halimbawa, yung kasama ninyo, nandun, o dito ka, dito ako, gano'n lang naman yun. Usapan lang naman yun eh. Naintindihan ninyo? Usap lang yan. Saka, kumit.
Navy!
Tatlo lang yan, kaya.
Only a 3-point lead. As Coach George Pasqua was talking to the camera, we didn't have the mic on already. Sayang naman.
Oo eh.
Narinig. Parang confessional eh. Dire-diretso lang. Si Coach George, always animated, right? One coach to cover. That hit
Made it to the
will.
line.
Oh, a net violation against the Navigators. Will donate a point to PGJC Navy. And that will be an attacking error coming from Nur Siddiq. Set was a little too low. So the crowd starting to swell here inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum in eager anticipation of our next matchup as well. Crisscross King Crunchers versus Signal HD Spikers, but the bonus is you get treated.
That's right.
To an amazing semifinals duel between the Navigators and Navy, as Greg Dolor makes sure that they will bounce back quickly. That is a string of 3 straight points for the Navy to tie the contest again. New player seeing action in Santos. One-handed set. Camposano has been deadly.
And he has been very effective there in the wing.
Especially when he has another attacker that could attract the defense. Oh, that's a great connection. Sabida scores.
Perfect timing. Again, starts off with a good first ball. Walters was too late to react. Tied 14 all. De La Vega at the service line.
So just a reminder that in the prelims, these two teams went 5 sets. Camposano, the blockers were ready that time, but Joven De La Vega and Omar Liok both chase the same ball. And it leads to a point for the Navigators. Wardan dun sa second ball. As the Navigators lead by 1 again, 15-14. Oh, that's a service ace. Villanueva, who just checked in, wasn't ready for it. 16-14 now. Second technical timeout of your 4th set. As Camposano adds to his point totals with this service ace. You're seeing some of the fans inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. Mr. Ricky Palu with Miss Jane Jimenez Basas and Ma'am Shena Olaso representing the Signal. And, you know, I think this is a great time to be a men's volleyball fan because we've seen the elevation of the competition. We're seeing new talents show up. And we're being treated to outstanding action, top to bottom. It's been a treat covering these athletes.
That's right. And the level of competition, you know, has been improving. Oh, that's too close to the net. I think there was a double that should have been called on the side of the Navigators. But either way, point goes to Navy.
Coach George not liking the non-call on the alleged double contact. But still, they found a way to get a point. And now Greg Dolor is serving to tie this contest. Slow down a bit by the tape. Saura
Clean hit by Saura.
Santos, who just checked in very late here in the fourth set to replace Rashnur Siddiq. Oh, that is a great play. As a response with Villanueva really maximizing the few opportunities that he's got into play here.
That's right. So yes, he scored, a couple of points, and that these are and in situations also, that when Navy needed the points.
That push is good for JV Sumagaysay. Back up to a 2-point lead for the Navigators.
A little confusion on the defense at the side of Navy.
$18 serving 16 now. This is Kim Dayandante. Good first ball. Sumagaysay picks it up. There was defense in the back coming from Dolor.
Oh, that was a smart move from Villanueva.
Sumagaysay was asking for a lift. Referee is not agreeing. So the point will go to Navy as Puradera and De La Vega will check back in. Another set. Prime to go down to the wire. The second and the third were both separated by just 2 points, 25-23. This feels like a similar set as De Pedro is picked up by De La Vega. Chance ball though for the Navigators. Dayandante with the set. De Pedro scores on the check ball.
De Pedro has been playing very smart here.
This has been a barrier for the Navy. They can't seem to tie the contest. They can get one back as it's kept alive by Saura. Sumagaysay sent back. Navy scrambling here. Greg Dolor picked up. Saura will attack. Kalingking with a pickup.
Oh, that was too near the net.
That was quickly sent back by Camposano. De La Vega scores on the check ball. And now a timeout requested by the Navigators. Let's listen to this huddle for Coach Boyat Del Moro.
Mga kuya, huwag tayo magmadali. Huwag tayo magmadali sa puntos. Pwede natin i-reset, ha? Reset, tapos atake tayo. Muli na natin ito. Dahan-dahan lang.
Hey, nako, dulo ka. Isang pasa lang, papatayin ko.
Go! Siguraduhan lahat ng reset. Tara!
Hey, Navi!
Go, go!
(19-18), only a 1-point advantage for the Navigators, who need desperately to win this in 4 sets to give them at least a good chance to make it to the finals, all depending on what the result of the next matchup will be between the Signal HD Spikers and the Crisscross King Crunchers.
So safe to say that there's no option for a 5-set match here for the Navigators.
This one goes through for Camposano.
Camposano again has been very consistent. He's not been stopped just yet.
With Saura being defended well and slowing down just a tad, Camposano now doing the heavy lifting offensively for the Navigators. De Pedro with a pickup. They go to Saura. Read by Dolor. And that will be a violation. A lift against Dayandante. that's a quick attack from Santos. And what a time to chip in from this new player who just saw action here in the fourth set.
That play really caught the defense of Navy off guard.
21 serving 19. Saura with the serve. He's been trying to keep it very, very safe. Back to Dolor, and he scores again.
Navy is still here in this game, just down by 1, 20 serving 21.
And if you didn't know the team standings, you would assume that PGJC also had the opportunity to still qualify
Right,
for the finals,
that's right, that's right.
They're not playing like a team that is okay to lose. They're still giving it their all here in this matchup against the Navigators. Oh, Lia push there from Camposano. Dolor scores again. We're tied at 21.
And you know that as soon as Dolor took off for that attack, he really wanted that point. A lot of conviction. This is that swing from Greg Dolor, cross court.
Joven de la Vega serving. Score tied at 21 apiece.
Oh, another good serve.
Camposano goes down the line.
And that play has been unanswered on the side of Navy. It was just too fast, too quick. Camposano aiming for that down the line. So none of the defenders of Navy in a proper position.
Back to a 1-point lead for the Navigators. That is out. Wow, an ill-timed service error from Edward Camposano.
Now we're tied 22-all.
Now you're sensing that there might be some pressure getting to the Navigators with what could be at stake for them.
9 service errors so far in total for this game for Navigators, 13 for Navy.
De Pedro. Set up. De Pedro to Dayandante. Back to De Pedro. Kalinking is right there. And that will be called in for Joven de la Vega. They take the lead 23-22.
There was a touch on the side of the Navigators. What a time for De La Vega to score the point. Team captain Greg Dolor at the service line, 23 serving 22.
Dayandante goes back to Santos. Dolor was there for the pickup. De La Vega off the block.
What a time for De La Vega to step up here for Navy.
And now a timeout is requested by Coach Boyat Del Moro as the Navy is at set point.
Kapit pa, di pa tapos yan. Let's go.
Daan lang.
Sige na. Hey, Nabi!
Two set points available for PGJC Navy as Nur Siddiq will come back into this matchup, replacing Santos.
Important serve now for Greg Dolor, but he has been consistent at the service line. So this will be a question of what attack the Navigators will be doing in the sequence and how Navy will be defending it.
Another mighty serve from Dolor.
Of course, they go to Saura.
Kalinking was there. Back row attack, Dolor. Overcooks it, no touch. But Coach George Pasco says, let's try and find something here to win this fourth set.
Well, Coach George seemed like he was really taking a close look at that attack by Greg Dolor. So block touch challenge raised by Navy.
Oh boy, a crucial challenge. Coach George Pascua hanging out with his subs, waiting for the result of this because well, they could be headed to a 5th set if he saw it correctly and has a successful challenge.
Although if this goes the way of the Navigators, Navy still finds themselves ahead. So the Navigators still not safe, and we see with the body language right now with Navy, you look like they really mean business.
But obviously they're enjoying this 4th set a little bit more. Was there any?
Let's take a look. Pretty hard to tell, but
Tight, pero
I think so call is none.
kasi the slightest of touch.
But there's a movement in the fingers.
You will see it.
Coach George says, you'll never know.
It was well worth it, right? It was
right.
this close.
Could have been.
Definitely worth the challenge.
But again, Navy still at set point, so if they score from the sequence, and they're extending this to 5 sets. And of course, they go to De La Vega. Much to the delight of Coach George Pascua.
How about another 5-setter between these two teams, like what they did in the preliminary round? They will push each other to the very edge. It was a 2-0 advantage for the Navigators Iloilo. But PGJC Navy battling back, winning the 3rd and the 4th. Both 25-23, 5th set coming right up.
ako sa'yo. Kala ko'y pag-ibig mo ay tunay, pero hindi nagtagal, lumabas din ang tunay na kulay.
Ito din title Stupid Love. Iyon, Stupid Love. Love, fresh as the morning air. Stupid Love.
Maulan ba sa inyo pag bumubuhos dito?
Ako parinig ni Manila. Kamusta ka na kahit wag nang sagutin, ilawan na wala. Okay na.
We are ready to start the fifth and final set inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. This is our final day in the semifinals of your 2024 Spikers Turf Open Conference. Live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and Pilipinas Live. Checking out some of the set 4 highlights. Lots of heroes for both camps. Greg Dolor continuing his stellar play, but it was the elevation of the performance of Joven de la Vega that allowed Navy to send this one to a decider.
That's right. De la Vega has stepped up just at the right moment for Navy, and Navy has played more consistently. So their set 3 was good. Set number 4 was better for Navy, and again, not to discount anything for the Navigators because they have been pretty consistent all throughout. It's just that Navy has stepped up in their game, making it more challenging now for the Navigators. And as we take a look at the numbers, it is just a question of errors.
Yeah.
Same with set number 3. And the Navy has done a very good job minimizing the errors from 10 errors in set number 1, 8 in set number 2, 7 in set number 3. So this is really the make or break, you know, for Navy, the errors. The Navigators, again, I think they're pretty consistent in terms of how they've been playing all throughout. You know, the errors that they have committed just came off at the wrong time in the game.
I mean, in the second set, it was a service error against Navy that turned that game around, like gave momentum to the other side. This time, it was Camposano's service error that allowed,
that's right,
you know, Navy to get some momentum behind them as we begin our 5th set. The Navigators trying to activate the middle early. They go to Camposano, goes cross-court. Kalingking was ready for it. Chance ball though for the red shirts. They go to Francis Saura. Kalingking steady as a rock from behind. Sumagaysay will set it up a little bit off Camposano.
A good save. Kalingking will now set up De La Vega.
Tremendous rally for her first point of the 5th set. And that will be a check ball for Saura.
Good defense displayed by both of these teams, and we are just at the first point here in the 5th set. So again, a lot at stake here for the Navigators. So extending this to 5th set makes it more difficult now for them to move into the finals.
They will now hope for a Signal HD victory against the Crisscross King Crunchers. And that will tie things up as Liok scores the first point for the Navy here in the 5th set.
Navy moving and playing more confidently here in this set.
Ooh, that's a service ace. De Pedro was ready for it behind Camposano, but they were not able to communicate, and that leads to a 1-point lead for the Navy.
This is a strong first line for Navy. Good pass.
And now it is Francis Saura taking charge of the offense for the Navigators.
A little confusion on the defense on the side of Navy.
Will not be surprised if this will be the type of scoring we'll have for the rest of this set. Mighty serve coming from Saura. And that's a one-on-one block. De La Vega denied by Nur Siddiq.
Nur Siddiq has been very effective with defending the net, especially on the first 2 sets. And this is what the Navigators would need here in the 5th. They have to stop the attackers of Navy.
But you can see Francis Saura now going back to the strong serves. And again, there is a risk, there's a reward. You got the reward earlier as Navy could not get any offense, but there's also this risk of service errors. Nur Siddiq gets this one through the block of Sapida.
Having an exchange of points.
De La Vega denied again. Nur Siddiq making noise with his net defense.
Well, that's a big thing, of course. Blocking De La Vega. And he has been denied twice.
This was
It's a little bit under the ball, so I think he really didn't have much of a good view on where to spike it.
But this was how the Navigators won the first set. Dominating the blocking department 5-0. Good dive coming from Saura. De Pedro. Picked up by Kalingking. Putadera goes to the back set. Good touch from Nur Siddiq. Oh, but that was over And that is the result. A mistake coming from Adao.
I like how aggressive the net defense of the Navigators is here in the 5th set, because definitely that is something that they would need to make things difficult for the attackers of Navy.
Joven de la Vega now serving. His team down by 1. Good first ball there from Camposano. They go back to Norsidik, who will score again. That's 3 points for Norsidik here in the 5th set.
Again, what a good time to step up. Two-point advantage now for the Navigators.
And the man of the moment so far, serving. Not a lot of space to work with for Greg Dolor, and that will lead to a point for the Navigators. They build the 3-point lead, which feels like a luxury here in the 5th set. Timeout for the Navy. Let's listen in.
Pagka out of system, huwag niyong ididikit sa antena. Ngayon, di ba, ang atake mo outside o opposite. So, ang next attack natin is middle. Kasi yung dalawang blocker, yung middle blocker, nasa dulo-dulo. So, naintindihan. So, kayong middle, commit kayo. Receive na, kayo naman receive. Try na, i-connect natin. Kasi, binabantayan nila rin dulo-dulo na natin eh. Maliwanag. Okay, let's go. Take the break tayo.
Coach George Pasqua looking for a little bit more creativity. Keep the defense guessing where the hits will come from. As they've been going to Dolor, they've been going to De La Vega.
That's right. So that has been anticipated already by the blockers of the Navigators. That play was good.
A decent answer coming from Greg Dolor, who might reach 30 points in this game.
It's already 26 points.
Dolor with a jump serve. Over receive. Perfect opportunity for the Navy. And Sapida make sure that he will score in that situation and force this time out on the side of the Navigators.
Atake tayo.
Okay, ano lang, yung receiver, fokusan mo muna yung yung pasa. Ayan yung makapasa, diskarte. Pag binigay sa akin, papatayin ko. Tara.
Let's go, let's go!
Check out this last play once again. Because of the over-reception, it leads to a quick attack. And that was exactly what Coach Jordan was talking about. All the other guys as well.
Yeah, the middles would need to create a threat to the defense of the Navigators. What they really want is to split the blockers, because the Navigators are doing a good job and have high percentage when it comes to defending the net.
Another good serve coming from Dolor. De Pedro picked up once again by Kalingking, who has been outstanding here in the 5th set. They score another point courtesy of Liok.
Navy moving with more confidence.
Three-point lead. Now history inside again at 7-all. Oh, but that is a service error from Greg Dolor. But a little too much behind it, lost control of the direction. So the lead shifts back to the Navigators at 8-7 as we change court. Now it's really a battle of who will keep their wits with them.
That's
Who will
right.
not be shaky, who will stay steady.
And these are the crucial moments of the match, you know, when you train really hard for those situations that you create in training, you know, that you're trying to go ahead or it's in the last stretch. So a lot of this actually already at this point, more than physical, is a mental aspect already for the players.
As we're ready to resume action here in the fifth final set. The Navigators won the first two. Navy rebounded, winning the third and the fourth to force this decider. Great angle on the serve, but somehow the Navigators could not score on it. Instead, Pudadera will be able to pick one up.
Tied 8-all. So important serve here. We all know that Speed has been struggling at the service line, not very consistent.
Oh no, another service error. Each one more painful than the last for Sapida, as he delivers the lead right back to the Navigators.
For both of these teams, every error counts. So you would not want to commit any errors.
They go to Camposano, and he secures the kill.
He has been working those angles very well. Just knows how to avoid the blocks. Let's take a look at that attack from Camposano. Very sharp angle.
Timeout coming from the Navy.
Diba, makinig lang muna. Then yung depensa dito, kita nyo, di ba sabi ko kanina, once na nag-glide ang depensa, ang blocking natin, yung depensa, dito kayo sa opposite ng direction ng blocker. Bakit kayo bumablock na ganun? Mali na nga ito, imamali nyo ba yung position ninyo? Di ba pwedeng dito kayo? Para makatulong tayo sa depensa kung lulod sa block. Kasi inaasal lang natin sa blocking eh. Pwede naman tayo depensa sa babae. Tsaga!
10-8, 2-point advantage for the Navigators, who are in desperate need of a win to keep their finals hopes alive, as Villanueva and Jairami both check in, replacing De La Vega and Pudadera once again. Then serving 8, De Pedro in the service area. Good pick up from behind by De Pedro. Camposano with a soft touch. Dug up by Jairami. Kalingking sets it up. Villanueva. Good time for Madao. Oh, that's a net violation against Magaysay.
Villanueva, has been doing a good job in just trying to shake the defense of the Navigators. So that last drop ball also made a difference.
Substitution for the Navy. There's De La Vega and Pudadera check right back into it. 9 serving 10. They will go right back to Camposano. Same angle still.
Almost this time around, Kalingking almost had a hand on that ball. Camposano really working that angle very well.
And they listen to the adjustment.
That's why. So this time around, they were able to get a touch on that ball.
Camposano said just too good. Big counter though, coming from Leok.
Maybe keeping this close. 1-point advantage for the Navigators.
I had a feeling this match was going to be this good.
Well, both of these teams teams, have a lot on the line. So while we say Navy doesn't have any chance anymore for the finals, but, they would definitely want to be able to have good confidence. And confidence is what that spike was all about. Let's take a look at that once again with much statement.
This time they were a little worried about Camposano being behind Nursidik.
And now Nursidik did the damage. Oh, that's excellent play.
Greg Dolor overcooks the angle.
But a challenge is being called by Coach George. It's for... Let's take a look at the challenge. Will be raised. Block touch. Well, maybe they're not sure if Coach George is, but I think this is momentum.
And that is what our technical officials will be looking at. Was there a block touch before that ball went wide for Greg Dolor? And officially, it's a block touch challenge. And our officials will scour our different angles to get the best point of view to determine if it was checked or not. Again, this is a crucial stage of this fifth set, so might as well issue that challenge.
Seemed clean. That seemed
That will be a no.
Again, could be to bring the momentum on the side of Navigators.
13-10 now, a 3-point lead for the Navigators. Saura with a safe serve. Powerful hit coming from Joven de la Vega as they are still in this.
2-point advantage for the Navigators.
Good serve coming from Kiel. They go back to Camposano. The angle still remains undefendable.
Kiel was there in the position, just a little too late to react, but Camposano really has mastered that cross-court hit. He's unanswered from Navy.
And Camposano delivering crucial points. Here we go. Match point. Dolor answers back. They're still fighting.
Navy is still in the game.
And a timeout will be requested by Coach Boyet Del Moro, his team. Up by 2, still at match point.
Anong play natin? Be quick, shoot, tapos backline dalawa. Ready lang ha, ready tapos cover. Kahit kanino ibigay ng pakataon, patay tayo ha, okay?
Next matchup will be between the Signal HD Spikers and the Crisscross King Crunchers. You're seeing some of those present inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. We're at the end game of our first match in our doubleheader. Joven de la Vega serving. Saura slowed down by the block. Dolor sends it off the block and out.
The captain scores another point here for Navy. Then Vega at the service line. Dolor with that attack. He has worked the blockers well, as also for the Navigators. He's used that to his advantage for several times already.
And when push comes to shove, you go to your team captain. You go to your main man, Greg Dolor. Back-to-back points for him. De Pedro, not a lot of power behind it. De la Vega scores. We're tied at 14.
And Navy, the grit from this team. They were down by as much as 3 points, and they in this run. You know, the pressure that on the service line here for De La Vega, I mean, this is no joke. But he has been pretty consistent.
And it has been powerful.
That's right. You know, and all out. Really, not just a sure serve.
Oh, he sends this one long a little bit. George will burn a challenge in the hopes of that piece of the ball touching a little bit of the line.
That's right. But this is already a good place to be in if you are Navy. Again, they were down by as much as 3. Now they're tied 14 all. Even if the Navigators get this point, then they still have a chance to tie it up again.
It's a game of millimeters now as we are waiting for the official review. Did that ball touch any part of the white line?
It did not. So it was out. But still, you know, if you're Coach George, you would really just try to challenge that.
No more challenges for Coach George. And we are back to match point for the Navigators.
Good serve is what they need here. A good reception on the side of Navy. Serve is good.
They go to De La Vega. Picked up from behind. Dayandante with the setup. Tough angle for De Pedro. But that is called out. Pending a challenge perhaps. Ball in, ball out for the Navigators.
It's hard to tell from our angle if that went in or out. But the Navigators were quite sure that it touched the line. I think Coach George, he signaled outside, so.
And it will be just
It is outside. And you're right, you know, this is a game of millimeters. We're not even talking about inches anymore. We're talking about millimeters.
And we push forward. We continue on.
You know what's key here now for Navy is they take advantage of this rotation of the Navigators, that Camposano is at the back row, Saura is at the back row.
15-15. Extended fifth set.
Important serve for the team captain.
Good serve. De Pedro attacks. Picked up by De La Vega. From the back row. Dolor overcooks it. Was there a touch? Was there a touch? They're saying no, there isn't. And there's no more challenges for PGJC Navy. So this call will hold. Back to match point for the Navigators Iloilo. Dayandante, the setter, serving for the match. They go to De La Vega, and he ties it up again at 16.
Again, what a time for Joven De La Vega to step up. How many points has he saved?
Chris Gross King Crunchers and the Signal AG Spikers enjoying themselves in this matchup.
Well, for the fans of Chris Cross and also Signal, the outcome of this game could also matter in terms of, the team that they're supporting.
You have a new player, Alicando, seeing action, replacing Sapida, who's had his struggles in the service area in this match.
They're wrecking serve. Oh, saved by Navy.
They will go to Leok. Oh, he scores.
And Navy now finds themselves in match point. Again, whoever wins this game, either way it goes, both of these teams deserve it. This is so exciting.
Serving for the match now is Jeffrey Alicando. Dayandante with a set. Dayandante with a pickup.
They go to Saura.
Saura dug up. Oh, miscommunication. Everyone inching closer, but no one committing to that ball.
We have 3 or 4 players who chased after the ball, but none of them made any attempt. That can be heartbreaking for Navy. That was a good defense at the side of Dolor. 4 players, no attempt. Coach George was really very frustrated.
De La Vega connects again.
De La Vega, once again for Navy. He was quiet first half of this match, but he is making all the difference here in the latter part of the game.
Taking the reins from Greg Dolor. And now Pudadera serving for the match. They go to Camposano. And he will score. That touched the referee already.
Oh,
and that will be a net.
This is going to be an important call by the referee. So they will be replaying the point. Good save though on the side of Navy. Good effort in trying to keep that ball alive. Of course, the Navigator's not happy.
Of course, you feel a little bad because that was almost going nowhere.
Right, that's right, that's right.
For PGJC Navy.
And
The fact that it hit the arm means that you had limited options on how to keep that ball going.
Kasi, yung tao kasi dumikit sa akin, pero yung bola hindi. Kaya dinid ball ko. Di ko alam kung umilag ako eh.
Okay, ano kasi, di ba umilag ako? Yung pagkabola niya, pagkakuha niya kasi, yung bola dumikit, tapos ginanon, lifting. Wait, ano yung second referee? Kahit umilag ka, hindi naman dumikit sa'yo.
Hindi ko na lang. Kasi nga,
The decision of the first referee stands. So it did not touch him, so that just to be clear.
So the hand of...
It was the contention was the lifting. There was a lifting on the side of De La Vega.
Oh boy, end game drama. You love to see it.
You
As we
just
take another
mentioned
look at what
drama at the
happened
top
there.
of the coverage, so we're getting a lot of that now. That was the call that's being contested, but it was a replay of the point as the referee's decision. The decision of the first referee, of course, stands. So Navy once again in the advantage here.
Match point still, 18-17.
Yes. Point is replayed.
They go back to Camposano.
Check this time.
And now De La Vega will attack. Good dig coming from the Andante. They will rally on. Oh! Campfire once again for the Navy.
How many times have we seen that on the side of Navy? Players just looking at the ball drop to the side of the court. I can feel the frustration of Coach George Pascual. And take a look at that. The Andante just easily bringing it over. Again, 4 players going there to that area, and none of them attempted. A lot of frustration here on the side of Navy. You know, if the Navigators win this, they're going to dream about those 2 plays.
Tied at 18. This 5th set extended. That block goes out. Back to match point for the Navy.
I think they're forgetting that this is supposed to be only a race to 15 and not the 5.
Another match point for PGJC Navy. Can the Sea Lions wrap it up here and now? Liok serving.
Crucial serve. Safely over. Go to Saura.
Saura, and that is long.
Overcooks it. And Navy,
They're looking to challenge. They have one more. So they will challenge a block touch.
if things go the way of the Navigators in this could change things, but you don't like the body language that you're seeing with him right now.
PGJC Navy convinced that there was no touch on that ball.
This is a big win for Navy if this goes their way.
And we're waiting for the official decision. PGJC eager to celebrate already. Oh, it was on the side.
That was clear, no touch, and it was Dolor, and he was pretty sure about the fact that there was no touch.
And how about that?
A reverse sweep for Navy. And a good time as well for the rest of the team to even step up.
And you get good rhythm hitting it to the blunt.
That's right, that's right. And I think that's what they really had in mind, you know, when they came into this match. While they may not have any chance for the finals, they want to get that momentum, they want to get that confidence, they want to have a boost in their morale going into the next match. The Navigators performed really well.
Yeah. You just feel bad because, you know, this was their best shot.
Yes.
Winning in 3
That's
sets.
Right.
Would have been their best shot if they were right there.
Almost. Yes, they were there.
Inches away from scoring a 3-set sweep, but it all fell apart for them, and I think the pressure got to them in the end.
That's right. But again, kudos to both of these teams. This is really, well worth it. You know, well worth it. Really, everybody enjoyed the whole match.
So our scores: 25-23, 25-23, and 2018 sets 3, 4, and 5 belonging to PGJC Navy. After dropping the first 2 sets, they win this 3 sets to 2 to at least secure a win in our semi-final round. Next up, we'll have Signal HD Spikers going up against the Chris Ross King Crunchers. But before that, we send it over to Beatties for our best player of the game interview.
Thank you, Carlo. We have the Navy Sea Lions team captain, Greg Dolor. Congrats on the win. First of all, 29 points, 25 attacks, 3 blocks, 1 ace lang naman. Grabe yung laban na yon, neck and neck. Ano yung masasabi mo? Anong pakiramdam? Gaano importante to sa inyo?
Sinabi ko lang sa mga teammates ko, ilaban na natin kasi wala namang mawawala. Kumbaga, motivation, tapos parang moral ba namin ba para sa darating na mga games namin. Kailangan namin makuha para tumaas yung moral ng bawat isa sa amin. Kasi nung mga previous games namin, medyo down kami. So, kailangan namin umangat para makuha namin yung mga susunod na games namin.
Ngayon na nanalo na kayo ngayon, ano yung pakiramdam at ano yung parang mensahe mo sa iyong mga teammates pagdating natin sa dugout?
Yun lang, huwag talagang mawalin yung enjoyment kasi yung enjoyment talaga ng paglalaro ng sa amin. Parang doon mas lalo nabubuo, parang hindi mo na napapansin yung mga errors. Kumbaga mag-errors man, kailangan bawiin agad, parang ganun lang. So enjoyment lang talaga, tsaka yung tiwala sa bawat isa.
Baka may gusto ka batiin, Team Captain Greg?
Binabati ko yung family ko sa Pangasinan, then yung asawa ko sa Zambales, si Charming Dolor, then yung dalawang baby ko po, si Gavin Clark and Diana Kate Dolor. Then papasalamat kami kay Tita Ping, Tito Jason, maraming salamat sa suporta palagi sa amin. Then yung sumusuporta po sa PGJC Navy, then yung mismo Navy community. Maraming salamat po.
All right, once again, your player of the game, Greg Dolor, Navy Sea Lions. Congrats on the win. Back to you, Carlo and Ivy.
Thank you for that, Greg Dolor. Congratulations. Our best player of the game, our set 5 highlights. It was like having open heart surgery inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum because we were so tense with how these two teams competed, with how well they played against each other, how much they pushed each other to their limits here in the 5th set.
That's right. So I can imagine, you know, for the supporters of the Navigators and Navy, if we almost had a heart attack. So what more, you know, with the supporters? But again, both of these teams really pushing it to the limits up to the end. Both had a really good game, and it was just really very timely, you know, for Navy to step up in the crucial part of the game. And almost all of the players inside the court was able to contribute. Unlike in the first 2 sets, you know, it was all Greg Dolor. As we take a look at the numbers, and Again, the team with the lesser errors would always emerge as the winner for the set, and this has been the trend for Navy. They managed to keep their errors at bay, they minimized the errors, and that really helped them, stay alive here in the match. And it's a good, it's a crucial time for them, also good timing for them to be able to do that. For the Navigators, I think for me, they still played very consistent. It's just that, Navy really stepped up in the game, and the Navigators really didn't have enough energy or enough time, to really figure out what to do or how to recover.
And that will be the end of our first game. Up next, a big one. Single HD Spikers going up against Crisscross King Crunchers for the second game of your doubleheader inside that is out Memorial Coliseum for Babies Apple. I and Carlo Mintuan. Do stick around. More volleyball action coming your way.